So in here you have sounds that you can just use straight out of the box. You can still, of course, tweak the sounds, not as much as in a synthesizer, but in here are some really cool features and settings that might help you to get exactly the sound that you need. So I'm still broke, but at least the sun is shining. A new day, a good day. Today I actually wanted to work on the tracks with Aaron that we recorded at the end of last week with the recording session here in the studio, which was a whole lot of fun. But I still didn't get the contract from Aaron. It's the big contract for the master rights. We already did the split sheet, and without this contract it doesn't really make sense for me to work on the tracks. In the past, I had way too many singer and songwriters just cancel tracks last minute, so this time I'm only continue working on the tracks as soon as I have his signature underneath of the contract. So today I finally got the time to check out some new plugins. I got one, I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I tested it a little bit, but not really here in the studio and in depth, and a lot of you have been asking me on Snapchat what it is, what I'm using it for, so let me present you that plugin. The plugin is by Lethal Audio and it's called Lethal. It's a software synthesizer that is ROM based. If you might not know, a ROM based synthesizer is kind of a sample based read-only memory synthesizer. There are kind of samples already loaded into it and you can use them and tweak them a little more than usual samples. For example, the Nexus synthesizer is a ROM synthesizer, and also the Korg M1 is sample based. If you compare it to, for example, a Moog synthesizer, that's something where you create the sounds, you have a bit more freedom, but on the other hand they might also be a little bit more complicated for beginners, because you really build up the sound by using sine waves, square waves, combining them, changing the filters and all of these settings that a synthesizer has. So this right here is the synth, and it has like libraries. I only downloaded the core library, my computer is just full, but in here you have categories as you know it from all of the presets. You can choose, for example, bass sounds, and then just play them. Maybe an octave lower. You also have in here really nice and tight keyboard sounds, organ sounds, pluggy dance lead synths. I really like the core library, the samples in it. I tested out quite a lot of presets. They all sound very tight and clean. Because my main problem with other software synthesizers is that they usually have way too many effects on them. The guys designing the presets try to make presets that really sound fat and nice on their own, but they never think about that a producer actually has to take these sounds and mix them into a track, and that they just might be too big and might clutter up everything else. Let's just play in really quick a pad sound to have something steady going on that I can tweak. I think this sound is pretty cool. And as you might know from any other synth, you can change here the filters. For example, just reducing the cutoff, dialing up the resonance, adding a bit of drive. This section basically works as it does with every synth. You also can change the envelopes, the LFO. You can do the same things for the amp, for the pitch. You can just choose the sounds here from the library. You can use the arpeggiator that is built in. You can just draw in the notes, activate it, deactivate it, shuffle it, decide on the length, also choose the bars, the size. You can add here effects, for example a reverb that you can then set just to make the sound a little nicer. You can, for example, add here a noise, change the vibrato. You can add drive and shine. And what I really like, what is a really nice cool feature here at chord, you can select the type of chord, for example 1 octave up. You can change it to 2 octaves up, 3 octaves up. You can change it to fifths. And this way really build up chords and just hit one note. Sevenths, major chords, minor chords, major 7 chords, which always just sound amazing. You can also hear at the direction setting reverse the sound. This might be especially useful if you select an effect sound. Let's for example pick here the downlift number 10 and now play it again in the backwards mode. It now takes a while until the sound builds up slowly from quiet to loud, which is also a really nice and handy feature to have. You can also change here between a mono mode and a poly mode. You can change the glide and of course the main output of the synth. In my opinion, this is a really cool software synthesizer. It's really useful for beginners if you want to just create music, write music, and not spend hours on learning how to create a sound, how to sound design that, or you maybe want to learn that later. With this synthesizer, you can just start right away, just select the preset, play around with it. If you don't like it, choose another one. Maybe change the sound a little and learn how to tweak the sounds. And the next step might be to just go and use a real synthesizer. You can also download on the website, I think, more sample packs to add to the synthesizer. There are some for hip-hop, some for pop music, some for the more deep house kind of style. But in general, these ROM synthesizers are more aimed for people that are making EDM, big room, trance, like all of the styles, progressive house music, where you just need a synthy heavy sound. And I think right now you get all of the packs for free with it together. I think just 1 or 2 more months, so maybe something you should check out. And it's, I think, way cheaper than the Nexus one. The problem with the Nexus one is that everyone has it. So if you pick a sound, the sound might be already overly used. This is new, this is fresh. And yeah, you get all of the sample packs. And I think even later the sample packs will be still cheaper than with the Nexus. So that's pretty much it from the software Synthi. I will now just play a bit around with it, start maybe a new track idea. I really wanted to make for a long time a track where I'm not using my guitar and just trying out like a slightly different style. Maybe just building up some nice pad chords, adding like a arpeggiator melody on top, and make something a little deeper. Wherever I am, wherever you are. Someone just rang at the doorbell.
Hi.
Hey,
Tim.
Okay, that's Tim.
Hi.
He's picking up some of the black foam stuff.
Yeah.
So you also have a studio?
Yeah, I plan to build one in
Okay, so you need that
my
stuff.
house. Yeah.
Awesome, because I'm trying to get rid of it.
Okay, nice.
Besten Dank.
Ciao.
Tschüss,
Und die Videos sind echt perfekt mit den ganzen Schnitten und den Timern.
Danke.
Alles gut.
How cool is that? I got beer and snacks as a thank you. And he said for the next hangover story time. But it's actually a nice and warm day, so... No, I can't. I don't drink in here. Never. That's a working space. So just taking them back home and drinking them tonight. And of course just one of them. Maybe 2. And snacks. Snacks are cool. Snacks I can also eat now. So Tim, thanks a lot for the beer. Thanks a lot for the snacks. I hope you will have a lot of fun in your new studio. And a lot of fun with the black acoustic foam stuff. But now let's get back to music. I opened up an older project. I've worked on it now for a couple of hours. I replaced a lot of the sounds with the new synth just to try it out and see how far I can take it. And I have to say it sounds pretty cool. Let me play it to you. For example, I found here this really cool, nice low bass sound, bass number 6. I also found a nice pad sound that goes on top. It's pad number 2. And on top of that, a nice arpeggiator sound. Still not sure about the ARP sound, because a lot of these lead sounds really sound cool. It's just so dangerous to have snacks in the studio. What have you done, Tim? Now I'm eating this entire box. So that's pretty much it with checking out this new synth. I'm pretty sure I will incorporate it in my working process for the next couple of tracks. And I will definitely use it for the next time where I'm having a session. It's really important to write everything fast, not to work too long on sounds, just to have something that the singer and songwriter can work with. There are a couple of small things that I'd like to see improved on this Synthi. First of all, whenever you click onto a preset, you have to double click it to really select it. If you just click once on it, it marks it, which doesn't make any sense. I really want to do this faster, so whenever I click something, I want to be able to hear it. I'm pretty sure that can be solved in the software really easy. The second thing is also software related. I'm missing the little box that you see when you leave your mouse on one of the knobs in other plugins that explains you what it does. That's entirely missing here. It would be really cool. I mean, it's a simple synth, but a lot of beginners will use it, and I'd love to see a lot of explanation for the things. The third thing is that actually when you double click onto one of the knobs, or alt click or command click on every other software, it resets it to 0. But here it doesn't really do it, or I don't really know how to use it. So it would be really cool to have this feature. It does something? No, it doesn't. So yeah, it would be really cool if you double click onto any of the knobs to set it back to the initial setting, or like holding down Alt and clicking onto the knob. That's really the coolest. All of the sample packs, some of them like with 2.5 gigabyte, the EDM one, the hip hop one, the ambient cinematic one has like 700 MB. There's a commercial one with 1.3 gigabytes, and all of them are for free right now. So I think it's a really fair package, and you get sounds that are not so overused as in other synths. So maybe just go there, try out the demo and see if it's something for you. I will put the link down below, and now it's actually time again for some boring business stuff. I'm all done for today. Very productive, and I just love playing around with new plugins. Also, the weather is just amazing. It's still bright, and my backpack is full of beer. I think I should take advantage of that. I just ran into an old friend, Harris. Hi. And we're now chilling out here in the studio that is like just 3 minutes away from my studio. And I have my backpack full of beer.
Good.
Interesting?
Yeah, the guys maybe, yeah. I don't drink.
So let's do that. You're not drinking?
Not much.
So that's the mixing.
Exactly, that's
room.
the mixing room.
And this right
separately
here, the recording.
Yeah.
It's really nice. So whenever I need something, I can come here.
You can come by if you want to, yeah.
That's like really just 2 minutes. I didn't know that this exists.
Yeah, it's nearby, yeah.
You killed the lie on my soul.
Ciao.